Hello and welcome to this learning session on the Moore Industries Model HCS, HART to Modbus Converter configuration software. In this session we'll be focusing on the HART tab, which is the tab facing you here. Currently my HCS is running and it's monitoring a single HART device. It's reading a temperature of 74 plus degrees, as you can see here. So we'll talk about all the different settings that are available to us in the HART tab. The first one being the number of HART devices. But before I start modifying things and looking inside it, I'll be sure to stop the HCS from monitoring my HART device. That way I can make any changes I'd like, and I can download them, but the instrument has to be stopped in order to do that. So back to the number of HART devices. You can see right now I currently have only one defined in there, and here it is over here measuring the temperature. If I add devices, you'll see that it opens these windows and allows me to put the HART address of those new HART devices in there so that we can monitor them as well. Currently, right now, I only have the one, so we'll leave it right there. The next, we want to look at the communication settings, and these communication settings that you see here are the HART communication settings, not to be confused with the communication settings up here, which are for your PC to HCS connection. Right now, as you can see, I am on comma 3. But that's for my PC. Down here, it is the HART communication settings. In the HART protocol, you're allowed to have two masters for the HART network. One would be defined as the primary master, and the other would be defined as the secondary master. Currently, and by default, the HCS is configured as a primary master. If you have a HART-enabled DCS, by example, that might be defined as the secondary master. Okay. Now, only two masters are allowed on the HART network. So if you do have an HCS, which would be a primary master, or secondary, doesn't matter, could be either one, and a DCS that's HART-enabled, those will be the two masters on the HART network. Be aware that if a technician then walks up to the network and connects a HART handheld device to it, the HART handheld device is also a HART master, and you're going to have a problem immediately. And you won't know where it's coming from. It's because he connected, he's a master, something's got to go. One of the masters has to get off the network. Okay. Next, down below, we have a box for number of retries. Your selection is 1, 2, and 3 is the maximum. And this is defining how many times the HCS is going to retry when it pulls one of the HART devices on your network. If it does not get a response, how many times is it going to retry? I always recommend putting it at the highest number. Now, this will not hinder your performance. What it'll do, if it gets an answer or a response from any HART device on the single pull, it'll move on to the next device. It will not try 3 times when it doesn't have to. So putting it at 3 doesn't slow your performance down unless you have a problem on your network, and that should be addressed rather than looking at the HCS software. Okay. Next one down is the burst mode. Now, the burst mode on a HART device, HART devices will run on a pull and response type of data transfer. It'll wait for a pull, send its data. Once you put a HART device in the burst mode, it'll constantly send the data, so you get a little quicker response. So if you want, you can click on the burst mode box, and then the HCS will send the command to the HART device, so it will go into burst mode. One important thing to remember is that if you have more than one HART device on your network, you no longer have access to the burst mode, because clearly you cannot have more than one HART device trying to blast their data onto the network. It will not work. So let's go back to one and we get the burst mode enabled if we want it. And lastly, on the bottom of the box here, we have an additional status. You can ask for additional status, and this is something good that you probably should enable, because if you have a problem with the HART device on your network, it will be sending status data, and this allows the HCS to capture that additional status data, and you'll see later, it'll display it over here in this tab, and it'll also be available for your Modbus to pick up as well. So it might be something good that you want to enable. So that's pretty much it. Not too many selections, but there are some things you must remember, and that's what we've covered here. Now, for me to transmit these down to the to the HCS, make sure you hit the down arrow, and that'll send that configuration. It'll download it to the HCS. You can see my progress bar moving along here. And when that's done, I'll start it back up, and we'll start monitoring our temperature again, and everything will be fine. So thank you for listening. Hope to see you again soon.